4. Command engine start. 2, 1.
Back in April, NASA decided to select Elon Musk's SpaceX rather than Jeff Bezos' Blue Origin to build a spacecraft which would allow astronauts to land on the moon for the first time since the last Apollo mission. In this video, we're going to discuss why they declined Bezos and chose Musk's company instead. Last spring, both Blue Origin, which is run by Jeff Bezos, and SpaceX, which is run by Elon Musk, were asked to submit designs to NASA for lunar landers for a mission where humans would return to the moon by 2024. This meant that, along with a third company, Dianetics, Bezos and Musk companies were essentially competing for a multi-billion-dollar contract with NASA. The mission was known as Artemis, and the three companies had 10 months to work on designs. The mission is set to be the first manned spacecraft to go to the moon since the Apollo 17 mission in 1972. The three-way competition, however, came to a close in April when NASA made the announcement that they decided to choose SpaceX as the sole recipient for the contract for landing humans on the moon, which, not to mention, was worth $2.9 billion. Not surprisingly, their decision infuriated Blue Origin, who went on to challenge NASA's decision, and according to reports, it's been said that Blue Origin actually filed a 50-page protest with the Government Accountability Office, stating that NASA's decision was so-called flawed. However, it isn't too hard to understand why Blue Origin was so upset, as NASA had originally said that they would award the contract to two companies. But ultimately, things changed and they could only choose SpaceX due to budget concerns and lack of congressional funding. However, that didn't soften things over too much, as Blue Origin still said it was unfair because they had, quote, moved the goalposts at the last minute and had negotiated a proposed price with SpaceX, but not with Blue Origin. A while after these claims, Musk responded with what seemed as a mixture of a joke and a jab at Blue Origin. He tweeted, "Can't get it up to orbit, LOL." He then followed that tweet with a photoshopped image of Blue Origin's lunar lander, whose name was changed from Blue Moon to Blue Balls. However, seeming to ignore Musk's jokes, Bezos later announced in June that he was making a major commitment to the future of his company, Blue Origin. He was going to head to space in his own spacecraft. Following through with his words, Bezos and his younger brother Mark took an 11-minute flight aboard Blue Origin's New Shepard spacecraft, which took them 62 miles above Earth's surface before returning back. "Ever since I was 5 years old, I've dreamed of traveling to space," Bezos stated in a video posted on Instagram. "I want to go on this flight because it's a thing I wanted to do my whole life. It's an adventure. It's a big deal for me." Although the short trip was a success and was in fact Blue Origin's first human flight, Musk didn't seem to think that the trip was too impressive. He poked fun at the fact that instead of going fully into outer space, the voyage was only suborbital. As a matter of fact, just days before Bezos' adventure to space, a user on Twitter created a meme which showed the two billionaires' faces superimposed onto Anakin Skywalker and Padme Amidala from Star Wars Episode 2, Attack of the Clones, talking about the flight. The meme made fun of the fact that instead of blasting him into outer space, Bezos' flight would only take him to the edge of space. In response to the Twitter meme, Musk replied with, "Haha." Going back to the big decision from NASA in only choosing Elon Musk's SpaceX to build a lunar lander that would land astronauts on the moon in almost over 50 years, the award was actually quite stunning. It marked another major victory for the hard-charging company that vaults it to the top tier of the nation's aerospace companies and solidifies it as one of the space agency's most trusted partners. Even though Bezos' Blue Origin had formed what it called a national team by partnering with aerospace giants Lockheed Martin, Northrop Grumman, and Draper, SpaceX still managed to beat out the company along with the other competing company Dianetics, a defense contractor which is based in Huntsville, Alabama. As previously stated, NASA had originally intended on choosing two of the three chosen competing companies to build the lunar lander. In other major programs, NASA had chosen multiple providers to hold competition and to make sure it has redundancy in the event that one can't deliver. In a document that was later obtained, NASA explained its reasoning for only picking SpaceX, stating that it wanted to preserve a competitive environment at this stage of the HLS program. But it added that NASA's current fiscal year budget did not support even a single award. As a result, SpaceX updated its payment schedule so that it now fits within NASA's current budget. Not only that, but the decision will also allow for NASA and SpaceX to establish a timeline for the first crewed landing on the moon in more than 50 years, NASA said in a statement, calling a moon landing a priority of the Biden administration. And although they were supposed to give out multiple contracts, according to GAO lawyer Kenneth Patton, it was fine, explaining that their evaluation of all 3 bids was reasonable and consistent with applicable procurement law regulation and the announcement terms. Speaking of the evaluation, SpaceX had the highest bid rating, while on the other hand, the other bids were significantly higher in price, which resulted in the space agency deciding it couldn't afford to give out multiple contracts as originally planned, the GAO announcement said. However, with all of that said, Blue Origin still has its hopes that NASA will end up changing its mind and provide simultaneous competition. Not to mention, the company has also still been trying to get Congress to require a second lander contract. We stand firm in our belief that there were fundamental issues with NASA's decision, but the GAO wasn't able to address them due to their limited jurisdiction, Linda Mills, head of communications and vice president, said in a statement. We continue to advocate for 2 immediate providers as we believe it's the right solution. The lunar lander is part of the agency's Beyond Earth exploration plans, which was refocused on the moon by the Trump administration. The Artemis program involves a huge new rocket that is set to launch 4 astronauts aboard an Orion space capsule all the way to the moon's orbit. The lander would take 2 astronauts to the moon's surface, where they'd explore for about a week, hook back up with Orion in lunar orbit, and return back to Earth. SpaceX lander, which is called Starship, includes a spacious cabin, can be expanded to a fully reusable launch system for travel to the moon, Mars, and other places, NASA said when it awarded the contract. A test flight of the capsule without astronauts aboard is scheduled for this year, with a test flight by astronauts to the moon, but without a landing, planned for 2023, according to NASA. However, going back to why NASA didn't choose Blue Origin, the agency stated that it was because they hadn't yet made a so-called important step, like SpaceX, for example. So, in turn, Bezos resorted to challenging SpaceX in court. Earlier this year, he made the big announcement that he'd be stepping down as chief executive of Amazon and that he plans to spend more time on other projects, which includes his other company, Blue Origin. Bezos has cited the futuristic vision of late physicist and space advocate Gerald O'Neill, but has, on the other hand, mocked Musk's talk of colonizing Mars. As a matter of fact, Bezos has made it clear that he thinks that the red planet is no spot for a home. My friends who want to move to Mars? Bezos said in a conference in 2019, do me a favor, go live on the top of Mount Everest for a year first and see if you like it, because it's a garden paradise compared to Mars. The rivalry between Bezos and Musk comes with out-of-this-world financial stakes, and analysts even made the prediction that the monetization of space would launch seriously soon, with trillions of dollars to be made. Bezos and Musk know that the winner of the space battle will be crowned within the next 1 or 2 years, the analyst said. But with NASA moving in ahead with SpaceX alone, it sent a message that they fully trust the growing company to fly its astronauts for its signature human exploration program, a campaign that could be a game-changer in the outer space sphere. As the first human lunar lander in 50 years, this innovative human landing system will be a hallmark in space exploration history, Lisa Watson-Morgan, NASA's lunar lander program manager, said during a news briefing announcing the award. NASA's Apollo program captured the world's attention, demonstrated the power of America's vision and technology and can-do spirit, and we expect Artemis will similarly inspire great achievements, innovation, and scientific discoveries. We're confident in NASA's partnership with SpaceX to help us achieve the Artemis mission. Overall, although the initial goal of SpaceX when it was created in 2002 was eventually flying humans to Mars, has completely upended the space industry, moving through fast, and at times fiery campaigns of unsettled traditional officials. It has also ignited new waves of enthusiasm that has not been seen since the early days of the space age. With that said, that's going to be a wrap up for this video. Thanks for watching.